It took a long time for Joaquin Phoenix to become an Oscar-winning actor. Here's how he made it from child actor to the clown prince of crime. After the Phoenix family moved to Los Angeles to pursue careers in the entertainment industry, Joaquin Phoenix, going by the name Leaf at the time, made his acting debut at age 8. He first appeared in an episode of the 80s musical series Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. He reminisced in an interview with The Guardian, "I was 8 years old and I remember the first scene on the TV set so vividly, and I knew that I loved it. The physical sensation, how powerful it was. That's a feeling I've been chasing ever since." Phoenix followed this with a role in the ABC after-school special Backwards, The Riddle of Dyslexia, and continued to make guest appearances on shows like Murder, She Wrote and Hill Street Blues, before his feature debut in the adventure film Space Camp. At the same time, his brother River managed to hit the mainstream with his role in the Stephen King adaptation Stand By Me. Just a few years later, Joaquin also found popular success with a role in the Steve Martin-led comedy Parenthood. However, he found his enthusiasm for acting waning as he became increasingly uninterested in the limited scope of opportunities available to him at the time. Only after receiving encouragement from River, who accurately predicted Joaquin's future success, did his love for acting reignite. After Parenthood, Phoenix spent time in Mexico with his father. When he returned to the States, his brother River suggested he change his name from Leaf back to Joaquin and showed him the Martin Scorsese film Raging Bull to try and bring back his passion. River hoped that the two would take on Hollywood together, but in the early morning of Halloween in 1993, tragedy struck the Phoenix family. Joaquin and River, accompanied by their sister Rain and River's girlfriend Samantha Mathis, spent a night at the Los Angeles nightclub The Viper Room. Their excursion turned deadly when River overdosed on a cocktail of drugs. Joaquin was the one who made the phone call to 911, which circulated across the media in the direct aftermath.
"You must get over here, please! You must get over here, please!"
In an attempt to escape the overwhelming media attention and grieve in peace, the Phoenix family fled to Costa Rica. Months passed before Joaquin made the decision to return to acting. Phoenix's return to acting after a 6-year hiatus was opposite Nicole Kidman in the dark comedy To Die For, directed by Gus Van Sant. Van Sant had previously directed River Phoenix in his 1991 film My Own Private Idaho, and the casting brought up some tough emotions. The director told Vanity Fair, "As soon as I saw him, I started crying. I didn't realize that would happen, but it was pretty sad." To Die For wasn't just a comeback, it was a breakthrough for Joaquin, firmly establishing him as a serious adult actor. It was the moment when he began to truly own his craft, signified by his decision to be credited by his birth name for the first time in a film. Adapted from Joyce Maynard's novel, which drew inspiration from the notorious Pamela Smart case, To Die For satirized the booming reality TV celebrity culture of the 90s. Phoenix portrayed Jimmy, a troubled high school student seduced by Suzanne, a fame-hungry weather reporter in a plot to murder her husband. Screening at the 1995 Cannes Film Festival, the film was well received by critics, putting young Joaquin on everyone's radar. In 2018, he reunited with Van Sant for the biographical dramedy Don't Worry, You Won't Get Far on Foot. Despite his celebrated comeback with the well-received To Die For, Phoenix's trajectory through the remainder of the 90s was marked by a string of critical and commercial disappointments. Phoenix appeared in Oliver Stone's 1997 crime thriller U-Turn, but it was a box office failure that ended up getting nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards. Earlier that year, Phoenix played Doug, whose romantic entanglement with the Abbott sisters leads to complex family dynamics in the period coming-of-age film Inventing the Abbotts. The film received a lukewarm reception, and that trend continued with additional projects such as the 1998 dark comedy Clay Pigeons and the 1999 Nicolas Cage-led crime thriller 8mm. Still, Phoenix was undeterred, and his obvious talent was never overshadowed. Kicking off the millennium, Phoenix embodied the power-hungry villain Commodus with an Oscar-worthy performance in the 2000 historical epic Gladiator. The film tells the story of Maximus Decimus Meridius, a general who's betrayed by the new emperor and seeks revenge by climbing the ranks as a gladiator. The film is celebrated as a modern classic, achieving box office success as the 3rd highest-grossing film of 2000, and ended up securing 12 Academy Award nominations, including Phoenix's first for Best Supporting Actor. He ended up losing to Benicio del Toro in Traffic, but he also earned his first nominations for a Golden Globe Award and a BAFTA Award. If To Die For was Phoenix's breakthrough, Gladiator was his catapult into global stardom. Writer David Franzoni recalled to Yahoo News, "My wife and I will never forget the day they sent over Joaquin's audition tape, because everyone was like, 'Joaquin Phoenix, isn't he some kind of stoner surf kid?' The audition tape was a knockout. It was mind-boggling." By adding massive depth and nuance to what could have easily been a one-dimensional villain, Phoenix's acclaimed performance became a defining moment in his career.
Do you think I'm afraid?
I think you've been afraid all your life.
Gladiator wasn't the only movie in 2000 that saw Phoenix taking on the role of the villain. Released just a month earlier, James Gray's crime film The Yards kicked off a long-term partnership between the two. Gray said about the actor in a New York Times interview, "The truth is, there aren't a lot of really great actors, ones you love to work with, and they don't grow on trees." 7 years later, Gray and Phoenix teamed up once again for the action thriller We Own the Night, featuring Phoenix as a nightclub manager entangled in a criminal underworld of drug trafficking and organized crime. This also marked the actor's first producing credit. The next year, Gray and Phoenix reunited for the romantic drama Two Lovers, but the actor's antics during interviews overshadowed the movie itself. Their fourth collaboration was The Immigrant, in which Phoenix played a pimp who exploits the plight of a Polish immigrant while also falling in love with her. Gray has been sure to utilize Phoenix as much as possible, but he has to share. Other frequent collaborators with the actor include M. Night Shyamalan, Ridley Scott, Gus Van Sant, Terry George, and Paul Thomas Anderson. Phoenix was nominated for his second Academy Award and won his first Golden Globe, this time for portraying Johnny Cash in the 2005 biopic Walk the Line. Phoenix not only captured the legendary artist's essence with striking authenticity, but he also emulated Cash's distinctive voice, singing all the vocal tracks himself. He took home the Grammy Award for Best Compilation Soundtrack Album, and even managed to deceive critic Roger Ebert with his convincing vocals. As Phoenix admitted to The Guardian, "I didn't think I had to sound like Cash, but I certainly had to know how he felt when he was singing." Although Cash didn't live to see the movie, he was pleased with Phoenix's casting according to director James Mangold. Gladiator was one of Cash's favorite films at the time, so much so that he invited Phoenix to dinner before the actor was even aware that Walk the Line was being made. It was widely theorized at the time that playing Cash led to Phoenix checking into rehab in 2006, given his commitment to method acting and the parallels of Cash and Phoenix losing their brothers at a young age. However, Phoenix clarified in 2018 that his rehab stint was instead the result of him wanting to switch gears after spending a lot of time immersed in celebrity party culture. During the promotion of James Gray's Two Lovers, Phoenix announced that he was retiring from acting to pursue a career as a hip-hop artist. He grew a disheveled beard, donned dark shades, and made bizarre media appearances, most notably an uncomfortable interview with David Letterman.
What can you tell us about your days with the Unabomber?
As it turned out, it was all an act for his mockumentary I'm Still Here, directed by his close friend and then brother-in-law Casey Affleck. Portraying a caricature of an entitled, out-of-control celebrity, Phoenix set out to explore the complexities of pop culture, media dynamics, and the relationship between stars and their audience. Only Phoenix and Affleck were in on the joke, making it difficult for the general public to decipher what was real and what was an act. The movie was no easier to interpret. Affleck told The Frame, "To this day, people still think it may have been real. There's a lot of confusion surrounding it, and that, I think, that bonded us even more." The film was subjected to controversy due to its experimental and unsettling content, compounded by allegations of sexual harassment behind the scenes. 2 civil lawsuits were filed for workplace sexual harassment against Affleck that were both settled out of court. Affleck publicly apologized for contributing to an unprofessional environment in a 2018 Associated Press interview. Since then, Phoenix and Affleck have grown apart. Phoenix told Vanity Fair in 2019, "My sister and him divorced, and I haven't spoken directly to him or indirectly in a long time, 3 or 4 years." In his solo screenwriting debut, writer-director Spike Jonze cast his first choice, Joaquin Phoenix, as the lead in his 2013 sci-fi romantic drama Her. Portraying a lonely divorcee who finds solace in love with an artificial intelligence operating system named Samantha, Phoenix's performance delves into themes of love, loneliness, and the nature of human connections against a subtle sci-fi backdrop. Critically acclaimed and a box office success, it was no surprise that Her was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. However, what was surprising for many was the absence of a Best Actor nomination for Phoenix. Journalists and publications like GQ, The Hollywood Reporter, and IndieWire considered it one of the year's most significant Oscar snubs. Phoenix's performance was at least recognized with a Golden Globe nomination, ultimately losing to Leonardo DiCaprio for his performance in The Wolf of Wall Street. For Joaquin Phoenix and writer-director Todd Phillips, Joker wasn't about making just another comic book movie. It was about creating an authentic character study of Arthur Fleck, an impoverished party clown and aspiring stand-up comedian who goes on to become one of Gotham's most notorious villains. Phillips was adamant that no one else but Phoenix could embody the role the way he envisioned. The filmmaker told Total Film, "The goal was never to introduce Joaquin Phoenix into the comic book movie universe. The goal was to introduce comic book movies into the Joaquin Phoenix universe. In hindsight, it's impossible to imagine anyone but Phoenix in the role. Yet initially, the actor was hesitant." He shared to IndieWire, "Usually when I'm scared of something, it makes me feel like I have to go towards it. I had so many mixed feelings about the character, and I like that."
I used to think that my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy.
With fear and some convincing from Phillips motivating him, Phoenix threw himself into the role and transformed into the Joker. Part of the physicality was mastering the laugh by studying those afflicted with pathological laughter and getting his look right by rapidly losing 52 pounds. Phoenix made one of the most recognizable comic book characters his own and won his first Academy Award for Best Actor as a result. Additionally, Joker became the most profitable comic book film and the highest-grossing R-rated film of all time, surpassing $1 billion at the box office. An outspoken animal rights activist and a practicing vegan since age 3, Phoenix has dedicated a portion of his career and fame to raising awareness for the cause. In 2005, he narrated Earthlings, a documentary exposing animal exploitation at the hands of humans. A decade later, he narrated the film sequel Unity along with 100 other celebrities. Together, they emphasized themes of compassion, the human experience, and the importance of unity among all living beings. In 2020, Phoenix served as an executive producer for Gunda, a documentary that intimately captures the daily lives of a pig, 2 cows, and a one-legged chicken. He followed this with another executive producing credit, this time alongside his wife, Rooney Mara, for the 2022 documentary The End of Medicine, shedding light on the connections between our treatment of animals and pressing global health concerns. Phoenix has always gravitated toward characters with deep psychological depth and emotional complexity, showing his vast range with every new role he takes on. He may be best known as the Joker nowadays, but that doesn't stop him from showing interest in smaller independent projects. He told the New York Times, "I don't really care about genre or budget size, anything like that. It's just whether there is a filmmaker that has a unique vision, has a voice, and the ability to make the film." This open-minded approach has led Phoenix to experiment with an eclectic mix of genres. In 2017, he played a troubled hired gun in the crime thriller You Were Never Really Here, and won the award for Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival. More recently, he's led back-to-back projects from A24 with the 2021 drama Come On, Come On and the 2023 black comedy Beau is Afraid. Both bombed at the box office, but they proved that Phoenix can play anyone, from a radio journalist who forms a bond with his nephew to an erotic mama's boy on the journey of a lifetime.
Are you laughing or crying? I can't tell. I want to have the appropriate reaction.
Despite Todd Phillips never intending Joker to have a sequel and Joaquin Phoenix turning down multiple picture deals in the past, the duo's decision to bring back Arthur Fleck may have had something to do with the film's overwhelming success. However, Phillips and Phoenix have never been motivated by a big payout. Phoenix said in a Popcorn with Peter Travers interview, I wouldn't have thought about this as my dream role, but now, honestly, I can't stop thinking about it. Buzz surrounding the sequel only grew over time. When the Joker Folie à Deux trailer dropped in April 2024, it became Warner Bros.' highest-viewed trailer premiere. Based on the snippets provided, this unconventional musical and psychological thriller promises to deliver the same gritty intensity as its predecessor, as we're introduced to the turbulent romance between the criminal clown and his new muse, fellow asylum inmate Harley Quinn. Although Phoenix's decision to revive his role as the ever-popular Joker may have seemed out of character for the actor, one thing remains certain. Whatever may lay ahead in his career, he'll continue to push boundaries and surprise us at every turn.